You may not be able to start over, but you can always begin again. Are you someone who struggles with the all or nothing mentality? I was definitely someone who struggles with the all or nothing mentality, especially being someone who is a recovering perfectionist. And that was something that impacted me as long as I can remember. It didn't impact me just in one area of my life, but I think it touched just about every area of my life I can think about, my career, my walk with the Lord, everywhere. And I can say that mentality probably impacted my walk with the Lord the most because every time I fell off the wagon, or I felt like I wasn't the perfect Christian, I would tuck tail, I would run, I would spend time away from God for the longest time. And so then I'd be in these cycles. And so it would always take me a while to get back. And most recently, as recently as today, or I guess I should say last night, I had to begin again. And I have noticed recently, and I will say this started, well, what I realized at the end of last year is that I wanted to make some changes with my health. And of course, being a woman, I definitely wanted to see the physical benefits of changing the way that I ate, but most importantly, I was interested in seeing in feeling different, the feeling within my body, my mind, my clarity, things like that. That's what I was mostly interested in because I just noticed I had some really poor eating habits. You know, as the holidays come, you're eating all this candy, all the treats, all the cookies, all the cakes. And I have a sweet tooth, I will admit. And I was definitely indulging. And moving into a new home, you're definitely not as eating as well as you might have previously before. And I was allowing myself to do that, just to kind of eat however I wanted to. And my daily routines that I had established fell off. I wasn't working out as much. And so I really started to feel those impacts on my body. And I wanted to get back to that. And so I really thought about how implementing how I was going to come into this new year with new habits or reestablishing habits that I knew were going to help me feel well again. And of course, that included my eating. And so I decided I wouldn't say a diet, but I was going to actively create an eating plan to follow. And I will say, I started off really, really well. What was that? Earlier this week. I started off really, really well. But what I will say is, I did not start off the right way in the fact that I did not plan what I was needing to do to be successful. I had the right mentality, which I come to understand is the biggest piece. The right mentality around the change. And that's great because that's what I found out is what I was missing previously, is why I was falling off the wagon previously because my mentality was all or nothing. And I realized that first and foremost, I could not give myself an excuse. I could not give myself an excuse to fall into old habits or because I was becoming uncomfortable. Because I will tell you one thing, if you are cutting sugar, my God, today, my thoughts are with you, my prayers are with you, sincerely. It is hard. When you're changing your eating habits, it is hard. And blessed be the fruit. Blessed be the fruit. I don't wish it on my worst enemies. But when you're cutting sugar, that is, you feel it all over, you feel it in your body, you feel it in your mind, but you know it's good for you. Anyway, I digress. But I realized I was not going to give myself an excuse to fall into old habits. But what I did not do is I did not prepare enough on the front end to be successful. And so even though I was just getting by, I was finding myself kind of fumbling around when if I was more strategic in the planning process, I would have found that the parts where I was bumbling and fumbling could have been a lot easier. I could have just been reaching for the things that would have been able to satiate the cravings, or I could have just been more prepared in general. I just didn't have to think about some aspects. I mean, let's keep it real. I do not like to cook. Okay. I do not like to cook. And so, being in a new home, I'm having to work on that skill. I'm not proud of it. I'm not proud. And here we are. I've accepted it because not that I was eating out previously a ton, but I know that if I'm wanting to establish better eating habits, I'm going to have to cook more often. I am going to have to, if I want to have more balanced meals, I'm going to have to cook. And so, yeah, I can throw things here and there, but they weren't as balanced as they could have been. So I had to do more planning. And so, because my lack of planning just created all these different little landmines for me to just kind of stumble into. So I had to begin again. Yesterday, I found myself prepping a big bowl of chicken at midnight, tired, exhausted, and just making it through, but not as well as I wanted to. And the perfectionist part of my brain was like, we're still making it. We're still going. Come on, girl. We got it. Come on. We got it. We're going to push through. We're still going to read our chapters tonight. We got it. We got it. We might be a little behind on our step count. We're just going to keep going. And a big part of me wanted to do that because I wanted to be able to make it in one foul swoop. I wanted the accolade of being like, I got it done. One, I didn't have to start over. Yes, I did it. But if I truly thought about it, it would not have been what it could have been. If I would have taken the time to sit down and plan and do the things that I needed to do to be successful, to do the things that I know would have really helped me cross the finish line well, then I think I could have semi patted myself on the back, but there would have been a part of me that been like, did we really do it? Did we really do it? So I had to begin again. And I chose today to sit my butt down and plan. Create an easy meal plan, low effort, low cooking that would help me to be able to do large batch planning that I can cook all of it. I'm probably cooking maybe twice a week, if that. And I can easily grab and stay on my nutrition plan. And I'm able to reach my step goals. And I'm realizing that, hey, maybe reading your pages at night isn't working. So maybe instead of reading all of these pages at night, maybe you take a break during the middle of the day and start reading 4 or 5 of them because you're falling asleep, child. You're falling asleep. So These are all of the things I'm realizing as I started. But what I really came to understand is in order for me to do well, I needed to begin again. And if you're somebody who needs to begin again today, feel free. Give yourself license to begin again. Don't let your all or nothing mentality, don't let the perfectionist brain who says you've got to do it all right now or you're a failure tell you that you can't begin or start over or do what you've got to do to course correct to ensure that you're doing what you got to do. And so I don't want to yap too much long. I don't want to keep you just yapping. I hope it was an encouragement for you today. My name is Tiffany, and if you are a recovering perfectionist here on this channel, we are learning to lead ourselves well so we can serve others better, as well as just taking care of ourselves. You are wonderful, you are capable, and we'll talk soon. Thanks for being here.